Maybe.
Let's pray.
We'll see.
The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
And here we are, Adventures from the Shed online, coming at you with our regular cast of folks, and we are continuing Jason's adventure in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in the Erridan Empire. Take us away, Jason.
Hey, all right. Well, welcome back to our adventure here. Our group has been into some quite heavy shenanigans over the past several games and have escaped death narrowly, now I think at least 2 times. So, we're right on track for everyone to die tonight. I'm just kidding, of course. I don't do those kind of things.
Sounds
and with
great.
that, let's go ahead and introduce everybody. I think the man who always kicks us off, Chris, is the first.
Hey, everybody. This is Chris. I'm playing Ophidian, the Yuan-Ti pureblood rogue who sometimes speaks with lisp. Not really.
Lisp. Does now. Now it's canon.
Yeah.
A character trait as inconsistent as their costumes. Hi, I'm Eli. I'll be playing Ray's bard tiefling with a penchant for murdering his closest associates.
I am Joe. I'm playing Rolex, the War-Forged Artificer who was never there.
I'm Reddy, and I play Les, the fighter, because he's not really a detective, ex-soldier, and I'm going to try not to get killed by Rays.
Yep, no, he definitely proved that he wasn't a detective last game. That's for sure.
He's definitely a cat person, though.
Definitely a cat person. Well, he thinks he's a cat person. We're not sure if he is. I mean...
You get like an 8 on one roll and a decent roll on the rest of them, and it's just like, oh, nope, you failed completely. Sorry.
Wah, wah.
Well, let's be honest. You didn't roll anything very well during that entire investigation.
No.
The killer was just one step ahead of you.
Uh-huh.
Well,
And
the killer technically could have been standing right next to him like it was, and he would never have known with what he rolled that day. But anyways, let's do a quick recap here. Since Chris is the man with the notes here, we'll go ahead and go to him because...
The one time I don't take great notes.
Oh no! I was trying to make you look good because you're the one who takes the notes.
Yeah, I try to. Then sometimes just turns into shorthand garbage.
He said he had grape nuts, not great notes.
No, that's true.
Can't put those on camera.
We can't share those on these things here. This is a family stream, right, Joe?
Grape nuts?
Mostly explicit family stream.
Great.
Audio stream.
Explicit family stream. Okay.
It's an audio
Grape.
stream. I guess I'll put my mic down there.
I said grape.
Great.
I love grape nuts. Okay, so I remember we were trying to escape. What? I don't remember the building. Were we back at the Stew and Pearl? I don't even remember now.
No, you were at the
Before
Meat and
Stew Pearl.
Mash. Yeah, you were at the Meat and Mash.
Yes.
Yeah, Meat and Mash chat.
So the characters were trying to get out of the building where Ray's decided to murder somebody. I think that's what happened. And the winter guard showed up and tried to lock the building down with some obsidian guard, and they were gonna. Yeah, they said they were just gonna disable some people. It turned out they killed a bunch of innocent civilians, and I guess that's all they killed, innocent civilians. So the characters narrowly escaped from getting, I can't remember the name of the poison that was put into the building. So we escaped out and made our way back to the Stew and Pearl to regroup, and we're trying to get some more information on Antiva, who was a part of the Zetleta Drow clan family, and the characters decided to head to the Breaking Waves Monastery, or Breaking Wind Monastery, maybe sometimes it's known in District 12. So we ended up at the Breaking Waves Monastery to talk to an elderly man called Tulsi. I think that was his name.
Tulsi, yes, Tulsi.
Tulsi, who has some mechanical parts to him. It's interesting. He's almost part Warforged and part human.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, very good, very good. Absolutely, that is exactly what happened here. The group narrowly escaped death, again, after Les, in his amazing detective skills, trying to solve who murdered their friend, who he was not very
Patronize
successful.
me.
He was not very successful. And then he made the decision to alert the guards that there was a dead body inside of there, who came in, and seeing and learning who this dead body was, the Garthak, the Wintermere's head consigliere, the person who's in charge of everything, a very, very powerful guy, person you guys have had multiple run-ins with here, decided to cover it up and said to keep and to clean up this mess. And well, that meant getting rid of anyone who was in there who possibly could have known or identified who this person was who was dead inside of the building. But Les was able to take some of I believe it was Les who was able to take some of her things before everything went crazy and stuff like that. But you guys are in the Breaking Waves Monastery. It is roughly late afternoon for you guys, as you guys did take a little bit of rest in the Stew and Pearl, and then headed out, fresh kind of faced to go and find out what's going on here. Tulsi, the individual who you are speaking with, is a very, very old looking individual here. You estimate he's shrunken so far down he looks like a dwarf almost as far as height wise, but you estimate that he actually is just a very, very old human. He still looks like he's in pretty good shape in terms of muscle mass and things like that. He doesn't look like, he doesn't skip leg day, even though he has one mechanical leg. He is, again, standing in front of you here. He has just dismissed his students who were in there.
Literally leg day.
It's literally leg day, exactly. He dismissed his students to the top garden because, again, you guys are on the very top floor, about 34 floors up at the Breaking Waves Monastery. And he asked, I believe it was Rays, or who was it who went over to the bookshelf to grab the book? Rolex went over to get the book. That's right.
Because he was supposed to know it when he saw it.
Yeah,
right.
that sounds right.
Yeah. And then Rolex did find a book, and he was bringing the book over to him. Rolex, is there anything you want to do before you hand the book over to him? You found the book that you were looking for. Again, it had the Jurlik family crest on it, and it definitely spoke to you. Even though, again, you don't really hear a lot of voices in your head as being a warforged here besides your own and what you're making things up. But again, this one here, something in your memory bank, something inside of you just kind of said, this is the one that it is here. It gave you that kind of intuition that you're not necessarily used to having intuition, but it was something that you definitely gravitated towards.
Yeah, it would definitely be a pretty cool experience, I think. And it would probably take a moment for that to click, both literally and audibly. There'd probably be some click there. And I guess the way I'm thinking of it is, because this book spoke to him so much, he's going to take what was probably an uncomfortably long pause before walking back with the book, looking at it front to back, and then like opening up just the front and then the back cover, kind of thinking, let's go with the presumption that books are similar to what we have today. Inside the front is like the publisher date or something like that, right? Yeah. And then the back might have about the author type of thing. Just looking at that quickly, not like reading the book, but just getting a little idea of what it might be that has made him click.
Okay. All right. So you look at this book here, and immediately as you look through you open it up, you hear that kind of like that crackling of a book that's never been opened for a long time. That kind of like
okay,
and like that kind of a page. And again, some of the dust kind of just comes off of it just a little bit here. This was prominently placed in the bookshelf. Looks like it was a little bit higher. Again, you're taller Warforged. It was a little bit higher on the shelf here with some older tomes. And upon pulling it out, you see the initials on the back cover of it. You see an R and a J, R. Jurlik. So R. Jurlik. This, again, the R you instinctively go to, and again, your memory hasn't been the same for a very, very long time. You were programmed when you initially were made to understand things and be there, but again, something happened in your past that you're still not sure of that has caused you to forget quite a bit of things here. As again, you wanted for your backstory and everything else.
Yeah, literally not being powered on for 100 years. So there's a pretty big memory gap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the person's name you would associate this would be the last patriarch of the Jurlik family, Rigel Jurlik.
Okay.
It is a history of their family and a kind of a diary of their last days in power inside of Erridan is what you get from just your kind of initial glance over of the book itself.
Okay. So that's definitely, as I bring the book over to him and hand it down to him, I would want to just stand right next to him and like look over his shoulder while he's looking in it to see if I can pick up more.
Yeah, as you walk over, he can see, he sees you like looking down. Your head is still up, but your eyes are just kind of like down, furiously scanning things as you're making your way over. And you hand over the thing, and he goes, all right, let's just take a look at this here. And he looks over at you, Les, and he goes, let's see here. You were the other one who was who saw this creature, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And then he looks over at the two of you, Rays and Ophidian. Are you guys doing anything specific, or are you guys just there with them waiting for the reveal?
I'm just observing everything because I've never been here, and I like to pick up on certain character behaviors of certain people to disguise myself and then later.
Okay. Rays?
Literally the exact same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As you both are watching this happening, you guys are taking like your notes. Your eyes lock for a second, and you're like, yeah. That's what you do.
Ray's is just thinking, what would this guy
there.
look like with a sword in him? That's what Ray's is thinking.
They start one up each other,
Look like
one
about
upping
a
each other.
long sword, maybe a short sword.
Yeah.
You
They
wanna try
start
them
one
on
upping
here
each other
tomorrow?
in terms of notes. They're just like, no,
Yeah.
I'm taking this, I'm taking this. All right. Okay. So with that, he starts to thumb through some of the pages, and Rolex, as you're overlooking his shoulder and you're furiously scanning through these things here, you can see from the front of the book. It's a pretty thick tome. It looks like the handwriting changes throughout the book itself, and at the end of certain chapters, you can see there's a different initial with the last name Jurlick. There's like an F Jurlick. There is a G Jurlick. This you can assume, and you assume that this is the last bits of documentation by the patriarch or the matriarch of the family, whoever was in charge of it at that time. And as he gets to the last chapters, he goes through, the handwriting changes, and the last couple of chapters, it's very sparse as far as what was written in there. It seems to be much more heavy on the connotation that they're on the run, that they are, they've learned something horrible, and now their entire family's in danger. There are images that are drawn in, hand drawn in, grayscale kind of drawings of the house that is on fire, their noble house on fire. And this triggers in you just some quick flashes of just intense flame, and you see your hand reaching down and grabbing somebody who is a bloody mess and pulling them from a fire. But it's very staggered, very, very, very kind of jarring to you as you're reliving some of these things. You kind of start to try to piece together what's going on with it here. But as he's going through this here, and this is what you're seeing. You're starting to get some flashes of when you were first built and maybe first came online with this family.
Yeah.
Before you were shut off for whatever happened. But Les,
is there like a little like loading cycling thing going on both of his eyes?
Well,
yes.
I don't know. Rolex.
Yes.
How do your eyes look?
It is so.
An hourglass tilting back and
So that, like, normally there's just a directed glow from his eye sockets, and you like see mini beams that come out maybe half an inch from his eye, kind of pointing where he's looking. Not so much a pupil inside, but just like a reference to where he's looking. And when he's very interested in something, these beams will like stretch further out, and you can see like wiggling as he's reading words and scanning back and forth, almost like little antennas coming out of his eyes.
Have you ever heard the old tale of Bender from Futurama? His eyes just come out.
Yep.
Just right in the book.
and then
be
fall
awesome.
out because they're just giant light bulbs.
Yep.
All right. So so Les, you would easily pick this up here, and even Ophidian and Ray, since you guys are diligently kind of people watching, you would even notice that Ophidian is. I mean, he's been very, very random for you guys. Very random kind of a construct here. You can see he has a laser focus right now that is very unique to the situation. But Les, he's turning the pages, and as he turns towards the back of the book, one of the pages flips over, and you can see that long, kind of gaunt face of that creature that you assume to be some sort of drow on there. You can see his elongated like teeth and his like sunken in complexion, and he is drawn horrifically, and he is holding what appears to be the person who drew him is holding he's holding on to like what looks to be a crest of your family, and it's just covered in like ash and flame and what it looks like on there. And as he gets to that page, the old man looks up at you, and he sees what you your reaction to it. He turns the book and he goes, "Is this the creature that you all saw?"
So Les's eyes are wide open and his jaw dropped. He just slowly nods, like,
He looks up at you, Rays and Ophidian, and he goes, "This here." He holds up the book.
Well, so you're saying he's not bad? He's just drawn that way?
Oh,
Oh.
he smiles at you and he goes, I like this one."
Well, he was sketchy then. Sketchy now.
He closes
he
the
al-
book. With that
Was
pun,
he
he closes
always
the
that?
book.
Was he always on the side of darkness?
But upon seeing all of you guys there, he goes, "This is quite disturbing that this creature is still here after so many years." He looks over at you, Les, and he goes, Did he say anything? What was he doing here?"
Okay, so who was it? Was it Ophidian or was it Rays that pretended to knock me unconscious at the time?
I think it was Reyes.
It was Rays.
I pretended to be knocked out by Rays, and then they drugged me to a table. And as he was about to bite me, I think he sniffed me and said something like, "I recognize that scent, or at least someone it's familiar." Like a relation to or something. It didn't make any sense to me.
He looks up at you, Rays, and he goes, "Do either of you have any information that you might be willing to share that might?" And he's thumbing through the pages still. He's going through that back chapter still, looking for something kind of as he's asking these questions to you guys.
Well,
We
didn't
saw
he
him
have it?
again on the outside, and what did he say again? I forget. It's been 2 months for us.
Well, it almost seems like he was trying to suck the soul out of you, and he has like some powers of necromancy. I think didn't he like raise some dead people?
That's true.
So
He shot lightning at us.
Which I'm not sure if that's new for him or he's always been doing that kind of thing.
he looks at you and he goes, No, that just sounds like it's par on the course for this creature."
so Rolex wanted to look also at that same sketch where he was holding the Jurlic crest. In that sketch, in that drawing, did the creature also have the other family crests on it?
He had two of them, not all four that you saw there, but he had
Okay.
two other ones but these ones were like attached. They weren't attached in the same place that he had. He had them like kind of on his shoulders, and he was wearing a little bit different kind of armor on there, but you could recognize them immediately from there.
Definitely would relay that to him then, that
Yes.
he had multiple other family crests on him when we saw him.
Trophies.
Yes, he looks and he goes, "This is quite disturbing then. There's going to be a massive change in power potentially. This creature here was part of the Zetleta Drow clans, who once operated a grand city underneath ours. They provided much trade in the terms of power for the city back in the days. And our family here," and he turns the page here and he goes, "Here it is. Looks like our family, Rolex and Les, discovered something quite interesting about the Antiva family. Upon bringing this to light, well, this creature appeared and started laying waste to the current hierarchy of families that ruled the city." He turns the page again and he starts reading through more and he goes, "It appears," and he takes some glasses and they're pretty thick and he puts them down on his face and he goes, "It appears that this is not maybe the first time this creature has been unleashed on the different peoples of this city. Then this is some very dire news." And then as he turns one more page, Rolex, you see again an interesting passage inside of there. And again, you can interpret it however you want, but it definitely speaks to you. Again, you have that intuition that this is something pertaining to maybe you. It is the last entry for Rigel Zhurlik. He puts in there that he has tried to save as many of his family as he can. They've been on the run for months. He's exhausted. He's tired. He's worn out. If it wasn't for the newest member of our family, one who was not again born in, but one who was created, I would not have gotten this far and been able to have written down as much as I have. He is integral to potentially stopping this vicious cycle of the Zetleka clan coming through here.
All right.
And then
I'm going to file that for a moment. Rolex specifically wanted to ask, taking some of the verbiage literally, of course, but also kind of seeing past it a little bit. He wants to ask if this creature was unleashed, who is holding the leash?
look, see, he's going through the book here, and he pulls up just a very interesting looking it's like almost like it was folded into the book here. It's like a loose piece of paper that looks like it was kind of ripped out and put in there. And as he opens it up here, he goes, well, according to our former master, the last patriarch, Rigel, all he has is an initial, an F. I'm not sure who he means by this, but you can see that there is just a crudely drawn image of the creature's face and Zetleta Drow clan, ZDC. And then there's just a little like arrow with a F with a question mark on it. In terms of what he has, he goes, I don't know if our patriarch maybe knew exactly who it was, but this might be a clue for you.
So,
and then
he's not good.
Yeah, and then before we'll get to you one second now. The last thing we see here is Les. In the diary he goes through, and he says, it says in here, there is Rigel's last things that are, this creature that we have forged is taking one of the last surviving members of our family. Hopefully they will be able to grow up and again reclaim our glory. And the initials of that particular person resonates with you very greatly because, again, you are much younger than Rolex. Obviously, you're not 100 years old, and you were tasked with protecting a certain family member of this particular lineage and keeping them kind of safe, but keeping them safe in secret as they tried to, again, recover their power. Unfortunately, you were not successful in this, but the initials are the initials of the family member that you were in charge of protecting, their father and their mother. Both of those had passed. You were protecting their daughter at the time, and she has also now passed as she was your charge. You can see that is the initials of the family, the last members of the family that apparently, potentially, again, this is for the players, not for maybe your characters yet, if your character don't know them, but potentially Rolex's character was integral in getting the few surviving family members to safety in a way prior to the family's entire collapse.
The last surviving member was named Shyla something.
Yep, Shyla Steelden.
Oh.
All right,
Shyla F. Steelden.
No, I think it's safe to assume we're talking about Phineas Wintermere because the Wintermere family is basically giving this guy a pass to do whatever the hell he wants. Or they take him off the leash whenever they need to get stuff done, and then their hands are clean. Until now. What do we know about Phineas besides the little blurb we got? And I don't know. We don't have much on him, actually.
Okay, I mean, you've been around, the social circle for a long time here. Maybe not direct access to Phineas, but obviously you probably would know a decent amount. Anyone who wants to can make a history check or some sort of check to see what you might remember.
You bet your sweet bottom I'm making a history check.
What about insight? Can I use insight?
Yeah, insight works.
I should use history because insight's my good bonus.
Nice.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah. Chris, you were right, Chris.
If I use history, I'll probably roll a natural
All right. So Ophidian, yeah, you obviously you know a lot about Phineas, but you know more than probably most. But most of the stuff you know is been through social gatherings and things like that. You know, like how he likes his tea. You know how he likes different things, and you're trying to like rack your brain for connections. But unfortunately, some of your other team members beat you to maybe some of the connections that you are trying to learn. So my question is to all of you as a group, since you passed as a group here, what do you want to try to know or discern about Phineas as far as what you're trying to figure out?
How does he have a hold over this creature? What's the connection with him? Because obviously, the Windermere families, they're the oldest family in town, I think, and
Yes.
they kind of have like the monopoly on the magical and technological controls of the city, and always have.
Mhm.
And it's like this guy is there, we need something dirty done. All right, we're gonna pull Antiva out of the box and make him go to town on stuff. I'm going to stuff him back in the box, and we don't need him.
Okay. So you're trying to figure out how the connection is there, and
So how's the connection there, and can we sway Antiva to betray his master?
Okay, all right. So that's what you want now. Since the group passed the check here, I'll open this up to the group here. Is there anything else anyone wants to try to discern with their insight or their history into this, revelation?
His itinerary.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Where he'll be on Saturday.
Well, that's kind of where what Ray's information would be. Well, yes, he would have a decent understanding of Phineas in a social setting. Most of his information is going to be habits, daily travel, business interactions. Like that's what Ray's understands. So he's trying to gauge about what would he be doing right now,
Okay.
and what would he be doing in the coming weeks.
Okay. And then, Les, I know that you rolled as well here. What about you? Is there anything that you would like to try to discern?
Specifically, I didn't really have much of anything.
You said we could roll, so I did.
So we were doing it as a team. Well, usually when I roll history, you usually provide said things, but I'm trying to think if there's anything offhand while they were discussing it. I couldn't think of.
No. If you wanted to just help the other two with what their questions were, then that's fine as well. So no worries. Okay, so
what is their biggest fear?
So we'll start with Ophidian's question is of how are they connected? Racking your brain and kind of going back into some of the notes that you've had from the Pashar family, because each family tries to again undermine the other and dig up dirt and things like that. Being a paralegal-esque type of counsel for them, you have seen some interesting documents that only the highest level members of the Jandal Pashar family have access to. But again, you being you've snuck some peeks. You definitely have, done what you needed to do to see what was going on there.
Have sexual relations. No, I did. I totally did.
Yeah. There was a interesting document that stated, and again, this was unconfirmed on the document. You remember reading this here, and it was very, very interesting to you that Phineas Wintermere might not be a full human. There was questions about what he actually is, as he's been in power for some time now, him and his family. He doesn't seem like he's aged, but again, he visits the spas a lot. Obviously, you know this here. He takes care of himself. He eats very well. But even for human standards, he should look older than he does, but he doesn't. He still looks relatively young, fit.
So barring any magical enhancement and like him just taking care of himself, we think, he's got to be something else, right?
Yeah, so that was something that was written in there. And knowing that this family, this Zetleta clan, they were very powerful, and then they just went away one night when the Wintermere family kind of emerged. There definitely is always been a connection between how did this happen. And again, the Wintermere family, they have kind of rode the laurels of saying, oh, yes, we rid the world of, these underground creatures and things, and we've secured power for our cities, and we are pushing forward in technology and doing all these wonderful things. But there's always been some people who have thought, those conspiracy theorists out there, that there is a connection between what happened to the Drow clan and the Wintermere family.
So who was in the first magical triumvirate that Lady Delia Wintermere started? I know who was that Who were the other two then?
Yeah, yep. So there was the Delathon clan, and then there was the where's my notes here, real quick? The Delathons and the no, that's and the Hildy clan are the two that were in there in terms of that. They are no longer there. The Pashar family and the Van Haydens now are the ones that have assumed that control.
Okay.
Yeah.
So history is like, hey, does that let a draw family exist? And all of a sudden, the Wintermere come out of nowhere, and those letters are gone.
Yep, pretty much. And again, it was so long ago, and it has been something that is common with these families who are in power to get usurped or get destroyed or wiped out to a degree that it's never been openly questioned as far as general daily living. This is just life, how things are here. But for those who are in power and those who are trying to assume power and take power from other people, it's very interesting.
So Rolex, any
And then,
more of your people exist, or you got to kick your memory into gear? Maybe you remember something. This piece of information stuck in that brain of yours.
I do not know
you were
how
there.
to
Guess what?
unstuck
You were
it.
there. You were there.
I do not know how to unstuck it if it is there.
Do we have any information on other family members besides Phineas?
Yes, there are two other family members, but they are both not in the city, and they haven't been in the city for some time. They are actually touring the other parts of Erridan. So Erridan is built into big, massive districts, and this particular area here, this massive swath of things, is controlled by the Wintermere, Pashar, and the Wintermere, the Pashar, and the Van Hayden family.
So, Rays, would that be something you guys are keeping track of, like other members' movements and such? Not that you want to divulge that to me, but we can get to Phineas through other people.
Speaking of which, so again, going to Rays' question here, as far as schedule and stuff, there has been a lot of reports that Phineas has been more reclusive lately because of the power shortage and, of course, the horrible attack on his, sky ships that he was building here. Who knew what happened to those? But that threw a massive kink in his plans. He's been spending more and more time at the city's power plants versus actually venturing out and actually going out and doing his normal traditional runs of meeting the people, spending time in the higher end districts of Wintermere and things like that. He does make his way to the central cathedral that is in the Winter's Peak district. This here is something he does typically once a week to meet some of the high priests and people of that nature there to, again, just like people going to like church on Sundays and things like that here. So that's the only thing that he has kind of kept consistent. But you do know, and your people are very much aware that he is in and around the power plant very, very consistently right now. As over the past several, basically since you guys have sabotaged the sky ships before we started playing here, and as far as your what you guys did right before you guys jumped into this.
So, in response to Ophidian's question, the family won't get us anywhere. Phineas has been rather reclusive, at least socially. Most of his attention has been diverted towards the power plants. It's rare to see him out and about, even at gatherings of members of high society. The only place to find him consistently, if rarely, is the cathedral in the Winter's Peak district.
What's the access like at that cathedral? Is that something we can
manage? He's like the Pope when it comes down to getting in there. He is very difficult because his entire protectorate guard is around him during those times. The only people who really get close to him are the high priests and priestesses.
Is there like a cover charge to get in, though, or you just can't get close to him once you're in?
No. There's no charge to go into the actual cathedral. It is a massive one. Many people attend to it here. Those who are considered lower class typically are further back in seating and things like that, and they typically don't get a chance to get as close. But there's no charge to get in or anything like that here.
So it's not
But
like an exclusive thing.
Yeah, but he is very, very tough to get to because also the people who are considered high class and high society and that they go to this place too, and they try to again meet with this person, do the whole kind of, oh, good, so good to see you here, and have that kind of FaceTime with them during this time that he is there. And it's very, very, very busy, very, very much, fast handshakes and going around and doing those kind of things there. So it's possible. You guys definitely know, but it would take some definite planning and some, some luck to get that close to him in this particular setting here.
If we had a thief, we could get someone to shake his hand with a poison. That'd be quick acting.
It's either
You don't
that,
need him dead yet.
yeah, we need to verify, or we need to entice them to come out somewhere, which is probably not going to happen.
We need
It's
to
better
entice
just to
him to
get-
hand over control of his assets, and then we can kill him.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Does this smell like chloroform to you?
No, just arsenic. Okay.
That's my move.
All right. So as Tulsi is looking through the book here, and he's still doing things, and you guys are having your conversation here. What do you guys want to do?
You said that he was dead, but obviously he's alive. Do you know how he died?
What do you mean that he is dead? Who's dead? This creature.
Antiva.
Antiva. Yeah.
I thought he was dead. Obviously, you're the ones who are telling me that he's alive.
Well, how did he die? Is that written somewhere, or
No, it's not written anywhere here. It's just I assume. I mean, this creature must be hundreds of years old, hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Based on that book, Jason, as Rolex was looking, what would be the last estimated date in that book where it was mentioned, where Antifa was mentioned?
It was roughly around 97 years ago.
Yeah, so that's what Rolex would point out. Perhaps we thought he was dead because he has not been heard of for 97 years.
And that roughly coincides with the time that you were deactivated as well, as far as how that blank space inside your memory.
Okay.
Do we have is that any of that underground city where the Drow clans rule? Does that still exist?
Yeah. Are you asking Tulsi, or are you asking just me in general?
No, Tulsi, if he knows.
Okay. Yeah. He looks at you and he goes, yes, there are multiple access points to it. Some of the cave systems, and he goes back and he flips back through like 2 chapters earlier, which goes back, several years in the Rigel book of their family stuff here, and he pulls out he kind of like just very gently like pulls out a map, and he hands it to you, and he goes, yes, Elena Julik here. She was one of our matriarchs, and she would often head down into these Letter Drow clans areas here to negotiate things for the city as far as power use and things. There are looks about 4 or 5 points, but I know time has passed. There's been hundreds of years. I'm not sure if all the points are accessible, but here he hands it over to you, and you can see this woman here. She very, very talented, map making skills from this person, and you can see looking into the Everland Forest, there is roughly about 4 entrances. And since you guys grew up in the city, you guys know enough about it here. You probably estimate that, between the 4 of you, you can find your way to some of these tunnels here. If you want to make me a survival check, I can see if you can maybe know which one will be your best shot, unless you would like to try something else.
I'm more interested to see if anything lines up with that cathedral or anywhere that Phineas might be. If I can come up into one of their buildings from one of that city.
Make a either investigation check or a survival check to see if you can understand how this map is overlaid with what you currently know.
Can I assist him?
Sure.
Him with this because of my understanding of their assets. Like, they actually do have control of this here.
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead.
And I just want to mention for our own theater of the mind reference, we've spent a lot of our time now on the northwest corner of the map. And Jason, you mentioned the Everland Forest, and that's on the northeast corner. So it is a bit of distance from where we are now, but it's not like going all the way across city down through.
Going to take a few days of travel. Might have to grab a train. So,
although the river seems to go all the way through there too. I don't know if we've tried water travel yet.
Oh, we haven't
Not yet.
So should I be rolling?
Yeah. So you can, one of you, either Chris can roll with advantage, or you can both roll and take the highest of the two.
Chris, take the advantage. Your survival's higher than mine.
Okay.
Well, it's the same.
Nice.
I want to give you something to feel good about.
Hey,
and then he rolls
nice.
Good. That's all.
He definitely feels better about that here.
That's what we need, Eli.
Next time, Chris, I would have had like a 1.
Next time, Chris is going to roll, Eli. Give him some confidence booster.
Okay. All right. So
I should be giving y'all bardic inspiration.
There you go.
All right. So looking over the overlay of the city here, Let Drow Clan's main city was built primarily under the Everland Forest, but there is definitely a overlay in Hightown. Hightown is a place where most of the noble and the elites, really live at here. And there is, if you look at the actual northwest corner of the map, northeast corner of the map here, there is a compound that is surrounded by fencing. This is Lord Wintermere's estate. And there is what appears to be a series of roads that are kind of over. If you put the map over like a current map of Erridan here, and you're figuring this out here, there is a series of networks of roads, or it looks like tunnels, that are right directly underneath that particular estate. There doesn't seem to be anything that connects underneath, like, say, the Winter's Peak district or things like that here. There are some what looks to be outbranching tunnels that go through like the Peshar farm fields and the farmlands and stuff. But the main part of that city was built up into the Everland Forest underneath it. And then there is like a network of tunnels that goes through Hightown, with the majority of them convening underneath that large compound that is, Lord Phineas Wintermere's estate.
Okay, and just clear this up, I'm just rereading some of the notes. Peshar family, Duke Jondal he's part of a lineage of elves? Is he elvish himself? Or
yes, he is. He is part elvish himself. Yes, and you would know that
supposedly
you work for his family,
right? But supposedly the lineage he comes from has ties to the Zetletta Drow clan. Is there any information I could pull from that might help us out?
He does not speak of it openly. This is something that you had learned about him, that he does not openly talk about. So you can go try to find him and get that out of him if you would like here. But that's something that's something that only your character would know. So that
okay.
That is a special thing that your character would know about this particular individual. But it also again solidifies the idea that this is why the Jondal Peshar, this is why he has been actively investigating and working against Phineas Wintermere.
Right. This is interesting.
That is a massive amount of real estate for the Wintermere family estate.
Yeah, it should piss you off, is what it should do.
It does. Absolutely. For those listening, we do have a map of the section of the city that we're in. The estate for this one family is larger than the combined area of two of the city's ghettos. Mm-hmm. It is larger than the entire docks district. It is a massive estate. I want to see it burn.
And that's a lot of fire.
You might get your chance.
Yeah, you guys might get your chance. It depends on what you guys want to do. So you guys have quite a bit of information now as far as what's going on. Some revelations from some of your group members here on their backstories and things like that. What do you guys want to do?
What do you think, Ray? This doesn't seem like a upfront kind of thing. This is going to be real messy, man. I gotta go make some. I gotta go send some messages. I want to send some information off to my Yuan Chi guys.
Okay.
And even I'll toss some stuff to Annette too, because she's got more feelers out than and I like to throw some stuff back at her and see what she comes back with.
Okay. All right.
And plus, I like to make waves So I know she likes publishing things just to cause problems, which sometimes helps us out.
All right, so it'd be a grand total if you're depending how many. We'll say if you're sending out multiple messages, if you're sending out 2 of them a piece, then it's what 10 gold for sending out those messages here. If you're sending it out, I believe at the highest rate that we had discussed. Okay, so mark off 10 gold then for me.
Express mail.
Les, Rolex, what are you guys doing with this information?
I'm going to say Rolex is still way interested in the book, and if he can get it handed back to him, the idea of these flashes of insight, memory, glitches, I'd like to read more and see if I can spark something. Especially when Ophidian said there's something stuck in there. I'm like, well, what can I do to unstuck it? And since I had a flash with this book in front of me, I'd like to see what more I might be able to do.
Absolutely. With that, Tulsi, he looks at, he sees what you're doing. He goes, here you go, Rolex. If you wouldn't mind, you can take that for now.
Too bad we didn't have this chick artificer that kind of knew stuff about Warforge. Maybe you might be able to help out.
Yes, Shyla is dead. I will miss her.
Oh, you lost a friend along the way. I'm so sorry to hear that.
She seemed talented, and she was interested in my abilities. And then someone put a sword inside of her where it didn't belong.
Yeah, she was trying to do a sword swallowing trick and didn't work out.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! He looks over at you, Les, and he's like, "What about you, young man? How are you?"
I'm dying inside a little bit from the events that recently happened, but I'm starting to recover with the help of my friends, especially my buddy Rolex. It's good to learn more about the family I once watched, though, even though that's a more tragic death.
Well, death is all around us here, but if you go around upholding your oath to the family, then they will live on in some way.
I do have one last question about this Antiva monster, I'm going to say, that keeps popping back up through history.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any main events that happened that just before the disappearance or death, as it were, of Antiva?
So your question is, was there any more
a main event that happened that may have led to the reason why they disappeared?
Oh, so he goes back and he goes, it's unclear. According to my studies and what was written by our family, there was a massive outcry. The Zetleta Drow clan were threatening the very livelihood of the city by withholding the power sources that governed daily life for them. Our family, the Zurich family, pressed very hard against them and again campaigned to a peaceful solution for things. But then this creature was unleashed. Our families started disappearing. It seems to happen around massive shifts in, I don't want to say political power, but things that will affect the city as a whole. These commodities like power, water, food. I mean, that's how the Jandal family came into play. The Jandal family, they came in and were able to miraculously reinvigorate the farm fields that fed our population. It is quite interesting how these things happen, but at least from my understanding, this creature has been unleashed when it seems like the status quo is being upset.
And then once the family gets what they want, they wrest it, probably. And now that they want something else, they're bringing him back.
Potentially. If you saw him inside this district here, again, he looks down. There's like newspapers around here, the Erridan Gazette and things like that. He kind of looks and he goes, this is quite disturbing that if this creature was inside that quarantine zone, and they're saying that the quarantine was just a hapless accident. Well, I can only imagine what truly is going on with that.
It's a mess. And we're trying to do the best to help out and maybe get these guys in trouble, but they're so powerful, it's like...
I would advise caution with this creature. If it has been alive for as long as it has and has wiped out as many families as it had, it is not something to be taken lightly.
Well, if we
Yes,
run into
well,
it again, we'll try to
neither
take
are
care
we.
of it.
He looks at you, Rays, and he goes, I have no doubts about that, especially if you are in the company of two of the guardians of the Jurlik family. I'm sure that these two have nothing but the best taste in friends.
We like to think
Truly.
so.
Does
Yes.
Tulsi have any information about the Archmage Juland of Nestora Tower? Like, is that guy, does he back any of these families? Does he kind of do his own thing?
Yeah, so, well, you know what? Honestly, you guys probably wouldn't even need his insight for this. You guys grew up inside the town, you know the city. He is somebody who is independent, which is why he's on an island by himself.
He's just kind of vibing.
Yeah, he is incredibly powerful mage, and only those who are incredibly gifted and who pass certain trials are even permitted to see him or speak with him on his particular island. He does not answer to anybody. He does participate in things. So again, if something happens in the city, or if say the families need something that's going to be arcane in nature, he will respond. But he's a little reclusive, and he's done so because people who he has taught, he has had there are like those Penny Dreadful comics that are out around the street and stuff like that, of some of the people who have he's tried to train or teach things, and they have taken his knowledge and used it for bad with bad intentions and things. And so he is definitely one of those creatures. But he's independent, though. He does not actually talk or deal with or have allegiance to any one family in particular.
Okay.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why he's on an island by himself. Okay, what do you guys want to do?
Reyes is just going to move over to the door and signaling he's ready to leave when everybody else is. He doesn't particularly want to engage in conversation with this elderly gentleman.
Yeah,
I
I kind of
just
want
something
to
about him feels off.
Yeah, he seems like honest and sincere. Avoid this guy.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
That is actually a character trait for Reyes. He
Yeah.
does not trust honest people.
He doesn't have purple hair, so he's not an easy target.
All right. Les and Rolex, as you see Ophidian and Rays both inching their way towards the door. What do you two want to do?
Do you have a scroll of Speak the Dead by chance? Just kidding.
He looks at you and he goes, why would you need a scroll of speaking with the dead?
That was a joke. I'm just kidding.
You can always speak to them as much as you want. It's a question of whether they.
As you say you were joking, you see him actually turn and look at a wall of scrolls, and he goes, "Oh, all right, well, fine."
I guess you don't need the scroll of wish. You don't need to speak the dead.
Ray somehow casts wall of fire and sets them all ablaze.
Meteor swarm, who needs it?
So Rolex will, seeing the others getting ready to go, Rolex will ask him, may I keep or borrow this book and return it at a later date?
He looks at you and he goes, he takes out like a little library stamp card. He takes the book, he puts it on there, and he goes, yes, there you are, Rolex. Please take good care of it.
What are the late fees? Because I'm going to have to keep track of them for him.
Oh, well, you know what? Since you are old family members here, I won't put any late fees on this book. But
kind of like our own property, right?
But Rolex, please, take care of this. It's one of a kind.
I will. I value the information it uses in my mind.
Yes, and as he says this here, and you might need this as well. And he pulls from around his neck. He pulls this. It is a small medallion, and as he hands it over to you, he goes, "I was told a long time ago that one day that somebody would come and again avenge the family, and they would require this book. They would require maybe my guidance on this. This is why I opened up this monastery and have maintained, the allegiance to the family here. I don't know what it does, but Rolex, I feel that you need this.
If you put it in your disk drive, you'll get all your memories back.
Definitely take it
It's a-
and stare at it for a
Yeah.
few moments. Is there anything special about it on its surface?
Make an insight check or an investigation check for me.
Well, that's
A
a really
CD-DVD.
It's a 3.25-inch floppy disk, is what it is.
that's a really good. I think it's going to be investigation because I'm the intelligent type. Let's see how that goes.
What were the really big ones?
Oh yeah, I'm
called?
super intelligent.
yeah,
A 27 would let
Yeah.
me figure something out,
Yep.
maybe.
So you looking at this here, you immediately know that there's something inside of it. It is mechanical in nature, and again, the Jurek family were very, very talented artificers. Had very, very talented artificers that helped build constructs and stuff, which is how you were forged. It requires a basically almost like a ritual casting time of like 10 minutes to actually get it to open up here, but it is a one-time use kind of a thing, and you're not sure exactly what's inside of it here, but you do know that this is some type of a weapon that they have given you, and with that, you know that again, your family that you were forged from, they weren't stupid. They were very, very smart, and they again had some pretty powerful things. So with that, you take a look at this, and again, you almost had those flashbacks again to back in the day, and you were walking into some laboratories, and you can see some of the family members. They're smiling, waving at you, and they're building different constructed parts. They're building different things here, and you can see you reaching towards something that was very similar, and a hand comes and just kind of grabs yours, and you see this woman. She looks at you, she goes, and she puts her hand, and then that kind of flashes away from you here. So again, you definitely know that this is a weapon, but you're not sure what it does yet. But you are very familiar with how it works. You know that it needs time to open and to activate. You're just not sure what the outcome will be.
Okay. It's not like clearly labeled in case of Antifa
No.
break charm.
Yeah, break charm. Use this. Throw this
okay.
at this person here. But yeah, that's what.
But he was wearing it, and so I will just mimic the reverse of the motion he used to take it off. I will use to put it on, and I guess I have nothing to tuck it into, so it's going to sit on the outside.
On the side, yeah.
So hopefully it's not too flashy on the outside of what my normal look is. Although I won't really care.
I know, okay. Bling shop. We can put some diamonds around it.
Sure, why not?
Okay, all right. So, is that all for you guys at this particular location? Are you guys done?
I will say that as we walk out, Rolex is pretty much not going to take his eyes off the book, and will probably stumble into people more than once, and I'll try to bring that up as we go.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. So as Rolex starts to walk towards the door here, and again, you can see he's just going to walk through the door. He's actually not going to stop. Yeah. Braze and Ophidian, you guys kind of quickly just open the door into the hallway, and as you guys open the door and Rolex steps through the hallway, he steps into the end of the episode. So I think that's where we'll take our
Damn it, it was my fault this time.
It was your fault this time.
I still opened the door.
Yeah, you did. That's a good point. You know what had me all distracted? One of the drawings in the book was of this really heroic looking tiefling holding a can of some drink.
Absolutely. Got to have that product placement somewhere. So.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that will draw us in here. We'll find out where the group wants to go in the next game, and we will see everyone on the next.
Yeah, and we'll be back in just a few minutes live. For now, we'll wrap this one up, and we'll all say bye.
Bye.
Adios.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
Thank you for your time, sir. Your advice was very helpful. And, oh, crap, they're leaving me. I got to go.